Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Zen Studio channel where we help women in wellness get found online. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a topic that a lot of therapists are very familiar with, and that is psychology today. Most therapists were taught that the path to visibility is through psychology today. It seems like it's this incredible marketplace where any potential client can go and find your business and thus book you. But as with everything else, the landscape is changing and those listing directories may not be as effective as they once were. Not only that, but clients are also changing. The way they search for you and your business, the way they interact with your business before actually booking a call, all of these factor in to your ability to be found online, to be understood, and to attract the right kind of clients. The goal is no longer to be just seen or listed in this case. The goal is to be recognized. If you've been a therapist for a little while, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that more and more people are going to therapy. So we are not talking about a lack of clients. What we're talking about is how to get discovered by the right kind of clients that not only you can help, but that are also a pleasure to work with. Because at the end of the day, just because you are offering therapy services, just because you are there to listen to people, that doesn't mean that you should take each and every single client that comes through your door. There are specific methods that you use. There are levels to the severity of the cases that you want to take. And by working on your online presence, outside of just psychology today, you are able to curate your list of clients that much more effectively. But before we go any further, I just wanted to take a second and introduce myself. I'm Vanessa. I co-own a branding and web design studio called Zehn, and I have been working with women in wellness for the last 7 years. So I know a thing or two when it comes to branding and marketing your business for online success. I created this channel to share my knowledge with you so that you can create a thriving online practice or online spiritual business. If this type of content interests you, if you are in the process of building your own wellness business, please subscribe and like this video so that I know you're watching. It helps me more than you know. Thank you so much, and let's dive in. Psychology Today was founded in 1967, so they have been around for quite a while. Initially, the goal of the publication was to make psychology literature available to everybody. It was a print publication that was quite widely circulated, and eventually they decided to create their own website. And at that point, they decided to include a directory of psychologists and psychiatrists and other mental health professionals in the US and globally. So they have been around for quite a number of years, and if you are someone that just graduated in the last 5 to 10 years, you have for sure heard of Psychology Today. It is probably one of the first steps that you do after you graduate. You create your Psychology Today profile and you wait for clients to find you through their directory. Now, I don't have a problem with this concept of a directory as a whole. Early adapters were able to get a lot of business from the site alone. But as you may have noticed, there has also been an increase in psychotherapists and psychologists joining the website every single day. With everything that's going on in the world, we have a bigger need than ever for psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists to enter the market. Mental illness is on the rise, as you know. And I am really happy that a lot more of you are choosing this profession and a lot more of you are choosing to devote your lives to helping people fix theirs. That is an incredible mission to have. But how do you differentiate yourself if you are just listed in a directory with 100 other psychotherapists that are pretty much offering the exact same thing as you? Again, I don't have a problem with directories. I do have a problem with the way directories are displayed. Directories tend to reduce the deeply nuanced clinical work into standardized checkboxes, which pretty much strips away your voice, your context, and your actual philosophy. And what does Psychology Today do? If we just take a simple scroll down the page, you can see that apart from the therapist's picture, pretty much everything else is the same. It's a very standard way of displaying people. I mean, it's functioning exactly as a directory is supposed to. But when you have such a large number of people as a client, what's the difference between one or the other? Even if you click on their profiles, yes, sure, you can read a little bit about them, but then it tells you exactly the fees, tells you the qualifications, and then obviously it lists the specialties and expertise. But in the grand scheme of things, there is no difference between this person that I'm looking at right here versus the next person. Actually, I don't even have to go back into the list of directories. I can simply click through them. It's almost like swiping right on your therapist, right? It reduces them all to the same thing, right? You see their photo, you see their profile, and that's about it. Nothing tells me how Rebecca is different from Natalie or how Natalie is different from Joseph. Doesn't matter. They're all of these listings, they boil down to the same thing. So then when you look at that and you see the therapists appearing side by side in a grid like this, well, as a client, you're pretty much forced to choose based on logistics rather than fit, because all you have is what's in front of you. As a client, I can only imagine that that makes the process of finding the right therapist that much more difficult. You now feel the pressure to not only find the right therapist that understands you, but also filtering all of the therapists that may not understand you. So it's very hard to make an informed decision. Someone that needs help, they will spend a lot more time just scrolling through an infinite sea of therapists before they find one that may actually resonate. And again, that just makes the whole process that much worse. Imagine if you are also not in the right mental state. How are you supposed to make an informed decision? Or how are you supposed to not be extremely overwhelmed by having to choose your own therapist when they all look pretty much the same? What does that mean for you as the therapist that is providing the service? It means that your practice may be filled with people that think that any therapist will do, instead of people that actually value your personal experience and expertise. And over time, this dynamic erodes authority and it positions therapists as interchangeable rather than true specialists. Would you rather be known as just another therapist, or would you rather be known as who you are and the type of work that you can actually help people achieve through working with you? I think the answer is pretty simple there. All I'm trying to say is that if you have been on Psychology Today for a while and you have noticed that the leads have started to dry up, you may be looking for other options. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a Psychology Today profile. I'm just saying that you may want to do more than just Psychology Today. If you are just relying only on Psychology Today and you find that your practice is not filled with clients, then it may be time to look elsewhere and to find your own clients. It's good to have as a directory. Obviously, if it gives you leads here and there, I think it's worth it. But again, you may want to expand beyond that. You may want to create your own profile and you may want to have your own setup for yourself, for your own therapy, a website and a brand that clearly expresses who you are. It makes you stand out in a sea of other therapists and it helps you find, again, the right clients to connect with. What I want to emphasize is that if you are one of those therapists that has been listed on Psychology Today and you are not getting any leads anymore, or you are getting very few leads, this is not a personal failure. The lack of inquiries is not a reflection of your skill. It's not niche clarity or pricing mistakes. The problem is the directory platform itself. Directory platforms are victims of their own saturation because they were built for an earlier version of the internet. They just simply don't work as they were made to function and they're becoming outdated. Those visibility models worked better when there were fewer therapists online, no longer function as well in an oversaturated market. If you're not getting any leads, it's a systems issue. It's not a competency issue. Do not beat yourself up. It's not something that you are doing wrong. You just simply have to do a little bit more than just be listed in these directories. Before we move on to how clients actually find therapists today, I really want to take a second and talk about this. Just because the directory system doesn't work anymore, just because we also have to have a website and we also have to network in order to get clients for our business, it doesn't mean that it's harder. I've even caught myself saying that I miss the times where all you had to do was put up a billboard and people would call you. It would be lovely if we were still living in those times. In reality, we are not. Things are a little bit more complicated. Yes, we do have to show up in many different places, but I want us to look at it as an opportunity rather than an impediment to our success. Maybe in the past, a therapist was just a therapist, like we were talking about, and maybe all therapists were very similar in what they were offering. But now each and every one of you can show your personality, can work with clients that you choose to, and you can develop a practice that is fully lifestyle proof for your lifestyle. And that is something that maybe therapists 20, 30, 40 years ago didn't have access to. Now you can run your therapy sessions online. In the past, you couldn't. It was all in person. So before we move on, I just want us to take a second and realize the opportunity that we have here. We have the opportunity to not only create a business that sustains us, but also one that matches our lifestyle. And that is just incredible. And we can do this with the new ways of marketing, with the new ways of finding clients, even for our therapy practice. So, how do clients actually find therapists today? If a potential client is not looking on Psychology Today anymore for a therapist, then how are they finding their therapists? What we have to understand is that modern consumers are way more informed than they used to be. We're talking about people that are research driven, especially now that we have the internet at our fingertips. We can Google every single one of our symptoms. We can use AI to figure out what is wrong with us, or we can simply look on a Reddit group and see what other people that have been dealing with the same issue are doing to solve theirs. These new clients are way more informed on their specific issues and their specific sensitivities. They are therefore hyper specific with the type of person that they want to work with. And you may have noticed that as well. Clients come in with the language, the framework, and the self-education already in place. They just need you to help them to get to that next level. I call them the hyper aware consumer. They know exactly what they need in order to get to that next version of themselves, and they're simply stumbling because they are aware they are getting in their own way. They search for specific symptoms, identities, and lived experiences rather than just a generic therapy listing. And this is what we have to understand. Their discovery journey is no longer linear. They don't just think that they need a therapist, they go to Google, they type in therapist near me, and then pull up the first few listings that come. They don't do that anymore. They don't go on Psychology Today to scroll through a sea of therapists to find the one that's right for them. No, what they do instead, they Google, they search on TikTok, they search on Instagram, and they consume your content way before they even get in touch. This is why it's also important to have profiles outside of Psychology Today. Because if you are only relying on this source, all the clients that are not looking on Psychology Today at all, they will never even find you. They will find the therapists that are on Instagram. They will find the therapists that have their own websites. They will find the therapists that are active online in the online sphere. And yes, again, that is much more work. It does ask more work from you, but at the same time, you can have a filled practice with a waiting list. And eventually, when you do manage to have that wait list full, now you have the opportunity to grow your practice. You can add associates and continue to expand, because instead of just having a listing on Psychology Today, now you are building a brand for yourself and for your practice. So when you do that, when you spend the time cultivating your online presence beyond just a listing in a directory, you are creating these mini trust signals across multiple touch points that your potential clients will come across before even deciding to start working with you. The result is that when they do finally book, because they've already done their research, they have a parasocial relationship with you, most probably already. They've watched a few of your reels, they've read your website, and they know that you are the right person for them. And that trust is incredible to have, especially when it comes to a client therapist relationship, because when your clients trust you, they are way more likely to follow your advice and to actually achieve the change that they are after. So just remember that clients want to feel your presence and your philosophy before risking being vulnerable with you. And when you build that ecosystem for them to simply step into and allow them to be in your world before even booking a session with you, you create that sense of trust and safety that a simple online directory does not have. And this really brings us to our next point, being visible versus being chosen. Because that's another thing. You can have search visibility with profiles and directories that are ranking high, such as Psychology Today. You can solve the problem of being found, but branding solves the problem of being chosen. So again, this is why you want to look beyond Psychology Today. You have an opportunity to craft your image, which gives potential clients the ability to choose you based on emotional and nervous system cues. Ranking on Google does not matter at all if your website feels cold, if it's confusing, or if it is generic. And let's make a little parenthesis here. Once you get off Psychology Today, or once you decide to build your own thing beyond Psychology Today, you can't just have a once again super generic listing, even though it's hosted on your website. It's fine if that's what you're starting out with, but try to be a little bit more proactive in cultivating your brand image and cultivating your unique story. This is what will give a strong foundation to your practice for years and years to come. This is how you turn a job into a career. All right, so now that we have set the scene, we have discussed why directories such as Psychology Today are not enough anymore, and we have discussed what clients are actually looking for when they are searching for a therapist. Let's discuss the 3 pillars of being found online as a therapist. In pillar number 1, we have the search visibility through your own website. What this means is that you are building a website that functions as a primary practice location. Think about your website as your storefront. I know this sounds cliche and I know you've heard it a million times, but when you do not have a physical location, your online visibility is all you have. So treat your website as if it is a physical location. You want it to have all of the information that a client might need before making an informed decision to work with you. You want it to make it easy for them to contact you, and you want to be different and unique so that you can stand out in a sea of other therapists. Don't just make a website that reads like a brochure, because then you essentially just created another listing for yourself under your own domain. You do have to put a little more intent behind your website. It is an investment, but it is an investment that I promise you is worth having, because you will look that much more professional. Beyond that, having your own website, it protects you against algorithm changes. It protects you against directory shifts, and it's not rented visibility. You literally own your website. No one can go in there and make changes on your behalf. No one can take your website away from you. It is yours. It's an asset that you have. It's a business asset that you have. And it is super important to start a website as soon as possible, because you do want to build on a strong foundation. You have to also understand that the longer your business is online, the more trustworthy it will seem. It's a matter of perception. We inherently trust companies that have been around for longer. So if you have already been thinking about starting your own practice, even if it's not something that you want to do this year or next year, but if you have a name, if you have any sort of assets, start compiling them, buy the domain name, get the social links, keep all of that. This is really important for you to have for your business and your brand. And I can't stress this enough, because right now everybody is going online. Good names are being taken every single day. Good domain names are being taken every single day. Same thing with socials. So if you have a good idea, there's nothing stopping you from buying the domain right now, from securing the socials right now, and then you can start slowly building your online presence. But at least, at the very least, secure those right now. Get your domain name, get your socials, and start building a website that reflects the type of client that you want to attract. Keep in mind, the search visibility improves when your language mirrors how clients actually describe their suffering. This is also another reason why you want to have your own website. Now you can control the narrative. You can further explain certain modalities that maybe only you use. You can become known for a specific philosophy, and that specificity helps not only your clients understand who you are, but also Google, who in turn makes sure that it shows your website to the right people that are looking for your type of expertise. The second pillar that we have is authority through education. And we actually just touched upon this a second ago, but education-based visibility allows you as a therapist to build trust without self-promotion. So again, beyond the directory listing, you now have a website. On your website, you can talk to your clients directly. You can tell them exactly what you want them to know. You can speak to their exact needs. You can let them know that you understand their struggle. You can emphasize emphasize certain modalities. And another thing that you can do is that you can further share your knowledge. You can have a blog on your website, and on that blog, you can go even more in depth about certain modalities that you want to work with more. A very good example is a client of ours who started a psychotherapy practice, and a year later, she got qualified as a narcissistic abuse treatment clinician. And she wanted to change the whole language on her website because she wanted to offer specifically this type of therapy. If she was to just update her Psychology Today profile, she could have just added that as a different certification without much space to go in depth as to why she chose to specialize in specifically narcissistic abuse, or what type of work she does with clients in order to help them navigate the complexities of narcissistic abuse. But because she has her own website, because she has her own blog, she can dive deeper into these topics. And not only does that signal authority to a potential client, because now they have proof that you know what you are talking about through your writings and everything else, but it also helps her website rank higher because now she has resources that clients can browse. Now, when she's writing blog posts, she's using certain types of keywords, and those keywords help her rank higher in search results. And compared to a therapist that does none of this, I can guarantee you that she is in the lead, right? Because she is creating these assets. Of course, it's taking a little bit more time, but what she understood is that she's at the beginning of her career, and if she spends a lot of her time and energy right now, she's going to build a very, very, very strong foundation that she will continue to build on for the rest of her life. So this is why you want to have your own platform, so that you can give that education, so that you can show people that you are continuing your education and you are getting informed and you are becoming an authority in a certain topic. This content that you create will then act as an extension of the therapeutic process that your clients are about to embark on. And beyond that, writing helps you clarify your philosophy. It also helps you filter out misaligned clients, right? Again, just because you are a therapist and because you are licensed to help people, that doesn't mean that you need to sacrifice your own peace and work with everybody. You also have the right to choose your own clients. And I don't think many of us are exercising our rights to choose in general. But when you have your own practice, when you have your own website, you get to choose your clients just as much as they get to choose you. And the way you do that, you don't have to directly tell them, no, I don't want to work with you. But because you are creating content that talks about your specific philosophy and your specific way of doing things, they can then choose to opt in or out of working with you. And finally, creating content for your website also gives you an opportunity, just like the client that I talked before, to create this evergreen content that compounds over time, right? And it exists almost beyond social media platforms. And again, I'm not saying have a blog, don't be on Instagram. I'm not saying have a website, don't be on Psychology Today. You should do all of these things as much as you possibly can because they all help. But when you post something on Instagram, as you know, it will show them to your audience for a while, but after a while, that post stops getting views. Well, when you write a piece of content on your blog, that blog will still be read years later because of the way the algorithm works, because it's a longer piece of content, because people will need that information. It's more information packed than just a simple Instagram post. And that sort of content is what's going to put you on the map in the long run. And now let's go to pillar number 3, which is the human presence that clients can feel. I don't have to be the one telling you this, but therapy is relational, right? Clients need to have that sense of safety before making contact, before really being able to open up with you. I'm sure you have had clients in the past that have been very reluctant to open up to you. And sure, a lot of the times that comes from personal issues, but sometimes it also comes because they don't trust you yet, right? So that means they have to go through multiple sessions before finally being able to open up. And while that may be good financially because you keep them coming back, I am sure that your role as a therapist is to actually help your clients. So you don't want them to be taking forever before they finally start opening up. It's a frustrating process for both of you, right? I'm sure you don't enjoy when it's the 10th session with the client and you're still talking about, first session grievances is, right? When you have your own website and when you have a presence on social media, it helps build that trust once again before clients reach out. And I've talked about this previously, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But the design that you use on your website, the language that you use on your website, and the visual tones that you again use on your website, they act as nervous system signals. We all react to design whether we know it or not. Subconsciously, we react to design every single day of our lives. We look at things, we like them or we don't. We look at things, we get the vibe, we like it or we don't. This is simply how we make decisions as humans, right? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There are certain websites that you yourself navigate that feel really nice, that you like to read, that you like to continue reading, that resonate with you. And there are certain websites that you simply don't have any feeling towards. I'm not saying you have a negative feeling, but they don't leave any impression. You don't think about it after, it doesn't leave a mark, and you just browse it and move on to never remember it again. You have the opportunity to change that through your website. You can create a unique brand and you can create a unique image. And in the video, I'll actually be putting 2 different websites that we have built for clients. I'll put 3 maybe. I'll put 3 so that you can see how different each one. All 3 of them are psychotherapists, and you can see how different each one of their websites are. And tell me in the comments what feeling you get from each one of these websites, right? And then if you compare that to a generic therapist website, you can see that one of them has personality versus one that does not. So it all depends how much work you actually want to put in your practice, right? There are certain people that don't want to put that much work. They just want to cruise. They're okay with a couple of leads that they get from Psychology Today. They're okay with a couple of leads that they get from the practice that they're working under, and that's okay. That's fine. If you are one of those people, kudos to you, keep going. But if you are someone that wants something different, that wants to have her own practice, that wants to have other associates, that wants to eventually step away from the practice and maybe eventually not even take client calls anymore so that you can have a life of freedom. If you are one of those girls, then you may want to look into creating this ecosystem for yourself, right? You may want to create this unique presence that helps you stand out. So again, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'm happy that things are working for you. But if you are someone that wants more, well, this is the beauty of it, right? We have all of the tools available at our disposal to create something that not only allows us a life of freedom, but also something that stands the test of time. So now that you understand why you need to have a website, and now that you have made the decision to actually go ahead and create a website, you have to remember that this will now be your primary referral source. It will function as your intake coordinator, it will function as your waiting room, and it will function as the first consult simultaneously. You want a website that if a client arrives distressed and seeking clarity, you want a website that signals steadiness and reassures them that they are in the right place. You want to speak their language. You want to make sure that they understand that you can help them with their specific issues, but you also want to communicate your personal experience as to why you want to help people like them navigate their issues. An outdated or vague website simply won't do that. If you just have a static page with a photo, again, it's not much different than just having a Psychology Today listing. So if you are going to take the time to create your own website, make sure you spend some time thinking about it visually. Make sure that you spend some time building your brand so that it's well reflected in the website that you are creating. And please treat it as the asset that it actually is. It deserves your attention. It deserves your good intentions. And it really is an infrastructure that can grow with you as your practice continues to grow. I have so many more things that I want to talk to you about, but unfortunately this video is already getting pretty long. So please let me know in the comments if you want to know more. I can go a lot deeper into exactly what type of content that you should be creating for your website, how to design your website, common mistakes that you may be doing as a therapist when you are building your website, how to choose the right visibility channel, and how much content is actually needed. I can talk about all of this. I have them here on my list. I just wasn't able to get through them today. We've been having a really good conversation. I just want to close with this: the most common visibility mistakes that therapists make. But once again, if you want to find out more, please put it in the comments and I'll make another video as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the content so far, please like and subscribe. It really helps me know that you like this type of content so I can make more. So let's finish the video. So this video wasn't meant to scare you. This video is not meant to say that you are not doing enough. It's not meant to freak you out that if you don't have a website, that means that you're not going to be getting any clients. That's not it at all. I wanted to create this video so that you know that there are options in case you want to create your own practice, in case you are not getting enough clients right now and you want to do something else. There are options out there and there are things that you can do. They do take time. You don't have to do it all in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day, but you have to be aware of the things that you need to do. And this is what I was saying at the beginning, right? Relying on directories alone as a full strategy is a really big mistake that a lot of therapists are doing. A lot of people don't want to do more than the strictly necessary, and if that is fine with you, then by all means continue doing that. But if you do want more, there are options out there. Another thing that saves a lot of therapists from even thinking about starting their own website or posting on social media or creating a brand around their practice is hiding behind the credentials. They think that their credentials should do the talking for them. Unfortunately, we really don't live in a world where you could just slide over a piece of paper with everything that you know and people take you at face value. We really do have to speak a lot more, and we have to step up to the plate and claim our space in this world. And this is just as true for the therapy industry as it is for any other industry out there today. If you do want to change all that and you do want to create your own online presence and build that strong foundation for your career and for your practice, I have a simple, sustainable 4-step visibility plan that you can follow. Step 1, first of all, this is super important. Clarify exactly who you are talking to. Define the person, define the symptoms, and define the outcomes that they are searching with precision. Remember that specificity reduces competition and improves search alignments. So be as specific as possible and make sure that you are always keeping in mind the person that you are talking to. Step number 2 is to let your website work for you. Your website should serve as a pre-screening. It should educate and guide your clients automatically. By the time they get on a call with you, they should already be primed. They should not be cold leads. At this point, they should be warm leads, and they should have at least the intent of working with you before getting on the call. And remember to set clear boundaries, because clear boundaries reduce that emotional labor and the administrative burden. Step number 3 is one that we didn't really get to talk about. So if you do want me to cover this in the next video, please put it in the comments. But it's to choose one channel, whether it be your blog, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. Start with one single platform before expanding everywhere. Starting with only one platform will allow you to channel all of your energy into one place, and it will allow you to grow much faster rather than spreading your energy thin across all of these different social media platforms. So just choose one, start with one, build an audience there, and then move on to different platforms. And remember that consistency builds recognition over time. And the final step, trust the long game. Remember that visibility compounds over time. Not only that, but you will get better over time. So whatever it is that you pick, if you want to be on social media, if you want to write blog posts, if it is workshops that you run, whatever it is, you will get better doing it over time. So don't judge your ability on your first few posts, on your first few videos, or on the first version of your website. You can do more and you will get better with time. Remember that authority is built quietly through coherence and clarity. Thank you so much for watching, girls. I really hope this was helpful. Remember that you do not need to be everywhere to be found, but you do need to be strategic with where you do appear. At the end of the day, it's trust, not the algorithms, that decide who ends up reaching out to you. I really hope this was helpful. Please put your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Vanessa, and I'll see you in the next one.